What if the way we see the world today is only a fragment of a much larger story? Hidden within the lines and symbols of ancient maps lie secrets that predate written history, secrets that could reshape how we understand humanity's earliest chapters. These maps, some older than the pyramids themselves, are more than just navigational tools. They are time capsules, preserving the wisdom of civilizations that vanished long ago. They reveal how our ancestors interpreted the stars, charted the earth, and connected with forces beyond the visible. But what do these maps tell us about the people who created them? What knowledge did they hold that we've since forgotten? Today, we're diving into the world's oldest maps to uncover the prehistoric wisdom they contain. From celestial alignments to lost civilizations, these ancient relics challenge everything we thought we knew about history and invite us to see the past in a whole new light. Are you ready to explore the mysteries etched into these ancient artifacts and discover what they reveal about the world that came before us? Let's begin. The Piri Reis Map is a puzzle wrapped in an enigma, a piece of parchment that defies the timeline of what we thought we knew about exploration and discovery. Created in 1513 by the Ottoman admiral and cartographer Piri Reis, this map is unlike anything from its time. It shows not only the coasts of Europe, Africa, and South America with remarkable precision, but also something even more astounding, the outline of Antarctica. Yes, Antarctica, a continent that wouldn't be officially discovered for another 300 years. But here's the twist: the map doesn't just show Antarctica, it depicts its coastline free of ice. And that's impossible, right? Because Antarctica has been covered in ice for millions of years, or so we thought. This detail has sparked endless debates. How could a 16th century mapmaker have known what lay beneath the ice? Some historians and researchers believe the answer lies in something extraordinary. They suggest that Piri Reis didn't create this map from scratch, but instead compiled it from much older sources, maps that may have been drawn by a forgotten civilization with knowledge far beyond what we've traditionally attributed to ancient peoples. Imagine a culture, perhaps thousands of years before the rise of empires like Rome or Egypt, navigating the globe with tools and techniques we can barely comprehend. Could they have charted lands we still struggle to explore today? The Piri Reis Map hints at this possibility, teasing us with the idea that our ancestors might have been far more advanced than we give them credit for. It's a tantalizing thought, one that challenges the very foundations of our historical timeline. But let's dig deeper. The map itself is a patchwork of information pieced together from multiple sources. Piri Reis even noted in his own writings that he relied on older charts, some of which dated back to the time of Alexander the Great. Could these lost maps have been the key to his incredible accuracy? And if so, where did they come from? Were they the work of a thriving seafaring culture, one that mastered the art of navigation long before the age of exploration? The Piri Reis Map doesn't just raise questions about geography, it opens a door to a much larger mystery. What if our understanding of human history is incomplete? What if there were civilizations now lost to time that possessed knowledge we've only just begun to rediscover? This map isn't just a relic of the past, it's a challenge to our present, inviting us to rethink what we know about the world and the people who came before us. And as we continue to explore its secrets, one thing becomes clear: the past is far more mysterious and far more fascinating than we ever imagined. Long before the age of satellites and GPS, the ancient Babylonians created something extraordinary, a map that wasn't just about geography, but about understanding the very fabric of existence. Known as the Babylonian World Map, this ancient artifact, carved into a clay tablet around the 6th century BCE, is one of the earliest known attempts to depict the world in its entirety. At first glance, it might seem simplistic, even crude, compared to modern maps, but don't let its appearance fool you. This map is a window into the mind of an ancient civilization, offering a glimpse of how they saw themselves in relation to the cosmos. The map places Babylon, the heart of their empire, at the center of the world. Around it, a circular river represents the ocean which they believed encircled the known land. Beyond this ring of water are 7 triangular regions, labeled as mysterious, distant places, some of which are described as realms of myth and legend. These outer lands weren't just geographical locations, they were symbolic, representing the unknown and the divine. For the Babylonians, the map wasn't just a tool for navigation. It was a reflection of their worldview, a blend of physical reality and spiritual belief. What makes this map so fascinating is how it intertwines the practical with the profound. It's not just about where things are, but about what they mean. The Babylonians saw their world as a microcosm of the universe, with Babylon as the axis around which everything revolved. This central position wasn't just a matter of pride, it was a statement about their place in the grand scheme of things. They believed their city was a sacred space, a point of connection between the earthly and the divine. But the map also reveals something deeper about how ancient cultures understood their environment. It shows us that for them, geography and mythology were inseparable. The lands beyond the ocean weren't just uncharted territories, they were places of wonder and mystery, inhabited by gods, monsters, and otherworldly beings. This blending of the real and the imagined tells us that the Babylonians weren't just mapping the physical world, they were mapping their understanding of existence itself. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. The Babylonian World Map isn't just a relic of the past, it's a reminder of how differently cultures can perceive the same world. While modern maps focus on precision and accuracy, this ancient map prioritizes meaning and symbolism. It challenges us to consider how much of our own worldview is shaped by the tools and beliefs we inherit. Are our modern maps, with their grids and coordinates, any less a product of our cultural assumptions than the Babylonian map was of theirs? This ancient artifact invites us to think beyond the lines and symbols on its surface. It asks us to consider how every map, no matter how scientific, is also a story about who we are, where we come from, and how we see ourselves in relation to the world around us. The Babylonian World Map may be thousands of years old, but its message feels timeless. It reminds us that the act of mapping isn't just about charting the land, it's about charting the human experience. And in that sense, it's a map not just of the world, but of the mind. Now, let's journey to the sands of ancient Egypt, where a remarkable artifact reveals a side of history rarely discussed, the Turin Papyrus Map. Created around 1150 BC, this map is a testament to the ingenuity of a civilization, often celebrated for its pyramids and pharaohs, but rarely acknowledged for its groundbreaking cartography. Unlike the symbolic or celestial maps we've explored so far, the Turin Papyrus Map is something entirely different. It's the oldest known topographic map in existence. And its purpose, to guide miners through the harsh, unforgiving deserts of Egypt in search of gold and other precious resources. What makes this map extraordinary is its level of detail. It doesn't just show landmarks or vague outlines of terrain. It provides precise, practical information. The map depicts the Wadi Hammamat, a dry riverbed that served as a vital route for mining expeditions. Along its winding path, the map marks key features like mountains, quarries, and even the locations of gold deposits. It's a masterclass in practicality, designed to help miners navigate the treacherous landscape and maximize their success. But here's the thing, this wasn't just a simple sketch. The Turin Papyrus Map reflects a deep understanding of geography, geology, and surveying techniques that were incredibly advanced for their time. Consider this: the map uses color to differentiate between types of terrain. Hills and mountains are shaded in brown, while the flat desert is left white. Water sources, crucial for survival in such an arid environment, are marked with blue. These details weren't just aesthetic, they were essential for survival and success. This level of precision suggests that the ancient Egyptians had developed sophisticated methods for measuring and recording the land, methods that wouldn't be rivaled for centuries. But the map's significance goes beyond its practical use. It also offers a glimpse into the mindset of the ancient Egyptians. For them, the desert wasn't just a barren wasteland. It was a treasure trove, a place where the earth itself could yield wealth and power. The Turin Papyrus map shows us how they viewed the natural world, not as something to be feared or ignored, but as a resource to be understood and harnessed. This perspective wasn't just about survival, it was about thriving. What's even more fascinating is how this map challenges our assumptions about ancient technology. We often think of ancient civilizations as primitive, but the Turin Papyrus map proves otherwise. The techniques used to create it, whether through direct observation, measurement, or even early forms of triangulation, show a level of sophistication that rivals many modern maps. It's a reminder that innovation isn't a product of the modern age alone. It's a thread that runs through all of human history, and yet this map isn't just a relic of the past. It's a bridge to the present, reminding us that the challenges faced by the ancient Egyptians navigating harsh environments, managing resources, and understanding the land are challenges we still grapple with today. The Turin Papyrus map isn't just a piece of history, it's a lesson in resilience, ingenuity, and the timeless human drive to explore and exploit the world around us. So, as we study this ancient map, we're not just learning about the past, we're gaining insights into the enduring relationship between humans and their environment. It's a story of survival, ambition, and the remarkable lengths to which people will go to unlock the secrets of the earth. And in that sense, the Turin Papyrus map isn't just a map, it's a testament to the enduring power of human curiosity and determination. Now, let's turn our attention to a map that has sparked both fascination and controversy, the Vinland Map. This enigmatic artifact, allegedly created in the 15th century, claims to show parts of North America, a landmass labeled as Vinland. If authentic, this map would provide compelling evidence that Norse explorers ventured across the Atlantic and reached the shores of North America long before Christopher Columbus set sail. But the Vinland Map is more than just a historical curiosity. It's a puzzle that challenges our understanding of who truly discovered the New World and when. The map itself is a striking blend of medieval cartography and tantalizing detail. It depicts Europe, Asia, and parts of Africa with the kind of accuracy you'd expect from a 15th century map. But what sets it apart is the inclusion of a landmass to the west across the Atlantic, labeled as Vinland, a name that aligns with Norse sagas describing their voyages to a land rich in wild grapes. These sagas, passed down through generations, tell of Leif Erikson and other Norse explorers who sailed from Greenland to a place they called Vinland around the year 1000. The Vinland Map seems to corroborate these stories, suggesting that the Norse not only reached North America, but also recorded their discoveries in a way that survived centuries. But here's where things get complicated. The authenticity of the Vinland Map has been hotly debated since it first came to light in the 1950s. Skeptics point to inconsistencies in the ink, parchment, and even the handwriting, arguing that it might be an elaborate forgery. Supporters, on the other hand, highlight the map's alignment with historical records and its potential to fill gaps in our understanding of Norse exploration. The debate is far from settled, and that's part of what makes this map so intriguing. Whether genuine or not, it forces us to confront the possibility that history might be more complex and more interconnected than we've been led to believe. Imagine a world where Norse explorers, armed with little more than wooden ships and a deep sense of adventure, crossed treacherous seas to reach a land unknown to most of Europe. If the Vinland Map is authentic, it would mean that knowledge of North America existed in Europe long before Columbus's voyage in 1492. This raises profound questions about how information traveled across cultures and continents in the medieval world. Did Norse explorers share their discoveries with other seafaring peoples? Could their voyages have influenced later expeditions, even indirectly? The Vinland Map doesn't just hint at a single journey, it suggests a web of connections that span the globe. And then there's the broader implication. If the Norse did reach North America centuries before Columbus, why didn't their discoveries lead to widespread exploration or colonization? The answer might lie in the challenges of maintaining contact across such vast distances, or perhaps in the lack of resources and support to sustain a permanent presence. Whatever the reason, the Vinland Map reminds us that history isn't always a straight line. It's full of twists, turns, and what-ifs moments that could have changed everything but didn't. What's most compelling about the Vinland Map isn't just its potential to rewrite history, it's the way it invites us to think differently about the past. It challenges the Eurocentric narrative that Columbus discovered America, suggesting instead that the story of exploration is far more layered and diverse. It also highlights the importance of maps as more than just tools for navigation. They're windows into the minds of the people who created them, revealing their hopes, fears, and understanding of the world. So, whether the Vinland Map is a genuine artifact or an expertly crafted forgery, it serves as a powerful reminder of humanity's enduring curiosity and ambition. It asks us to consider how much of our history remains hidden, waiting to be uncovered, and it challenges us to keep exploring not just the world around us, but the stories we tell about it. Because in the end, every map is more than a guide, it's a reflection of who we are and what we believe is possible. High on the walls of Hereford Cathedral in England hangs a map unlike any other. A sprawling, intricate masterpiece that captures not just the physical world but the very soul of a medieval mind. Known as the Hereford Mappa Mundi, this 13th century creation is more than a map. It's a vivid tapestry of geography, religion, and mythology woven together into a single, mesmerizing image. At first glance, it might seem strange to modern eyes. The world is depicted as a flat disk with Jerusalem sitting proudly at its center. But this isn't just a navigational tool, it's a window into how medieval people saw themselves, their faith, and their place in the cosmos. The Hereford Mappa Mundi is a kaleidoscope of stories. Alongside the familiar shapes of continents and seas, you'll find biblical scenes, mythical creatures, and fantastical beasts. Adam and Eve stand in the Garden of Eden while the Tower of Babel rises in the distance. To the east, the land of the rising sun, creatures like the Blemii, men with faces on their chests, and the Cyapods who shade themselves with a single giant foot, roam the edges of the known world. These aren't random embellishments, they're deliberate choices that reveal how deeply intertwined the spiritual and the physical were for medieval mapmakers. For them, the world wasn't just a collection of lands and seas, it was a stage on which the drama of creation, sin, and salvation played out. But why place Jerusalem at the center? In the medieval worldview, this wasn't just a matter of geography, it was a statement of faith. Jerusalem was seen as the spiritual heart of the world, the place where heaven and earth met. By centering the map on this holy city, the creators of the Mappa Mundi were making a profound declaration that the physical world was inseparable from the divine. Every mountain, river, and city on the map was imbued with meaning, part of a grand God-ordained design. This wasn't just a map of the earth, it was a map of belief. And yet, the Hereford Mappa Mundi isn't just a relic of religious fervor. It's also a reflection of how medieval people grappled with the unknown. The edges of the map are filled with strange, wondrous creatures, dragons, griffins, and other beings that symbolized the mysteries of the world beyond Europe. These weren't just flights of fancy, they were expressions of curiosity and awe. The mapmakers didn't shy away from the unknown, they embraced it, using their imaginations to fill in the gaps of their knowledge. In doing so, they created a map that was as much about exploration as it was about faith. What's remarkable is how the Hereford Mappa Mundi challenges our modern assumptions about maps. Today, we value precision and objectivity, but this medieval map reminds us that every map is a product of its time and culture. It's not just a tool for navigating the world, it's a mirror reflecting the hopes, fears, and beliefs of the people who created it. The Mappa Mundi invites us to see maps not as static records but as living documents shaped by the worldview of their creators. As we study this ancient map, we're reminded that the act of mapping is deeply human. It's not just about charting the land, it's about making sense of our place in the world. The Hereford Mappa Mundi, with its blend of geography and mythology, offers us a glimpse into a time when the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual were fluid, when the unknown was a source of wonder rather than fear. It's a reminder that every map tells a story, not just about the world, but about the people who dared to imagine it. And in that sense, it's a map not just of the earth, but of the human spirit. Now, let's shift our focus to a map that offers a perspective often overlooked in the Western world, the Kangnido map. Created in 1402 during the Joseon dynasty of Korea, this extraordinary artifact stands as one of the earliest surviving maps from East Asia. It's not just a map, it's a testament to the intellectual and cultural achievements of a civilization that was far ahead of its time. The Kangnido map doesn't merely depict the world as it was known in East Asia, it reveals a surprisingly global vision, stretching from Korea and China to the Middle East and even parts of Europe. What makes this map so remarkable is its scope and accuracy. It shows rivers, mountains, and cities with a level of detail that would have been unimaginable to many European mapmakers of the same era. The map even includes the Nile River in Africa, the Arabian Peninsula, and the Mediterranean Sea regions that were thousands of miles away from Korea. How did the creators of the Kangnido map achieve such a comprehensive view of the world? The answer lies in their access to a network of knowledge that spanned continents. The Kangnido map was likely compiled using information from Chinese, Islamic, and even European sources, brought together through trade routes like the Silk Road. This exchange of knowledge wasn't just about geography, it was a cultural dialogue that allowed ideas, technologies, and traditions to flow freely across borders. The map's creators didn't just copy what they learned, they synthesized it, creating a unique representation that reflected their own worldview while acknowledging the contributions of other civilizations. But the Kangnido map does more than showcase technical skill. It challenges a Eurocentric narrative that often dominates discussions of early cartography. While European maps from the same period were still grappling with the shape of the world, the Kangnido map demonstrates that East Asian civilizations had already developed a sophisticated understanding of global geography. It's a reminder that the history of exploration and discovery isn't a single story, it's a mosaic of interconnected achievements from cultures around the world. What's equally fascinating is how the Kangnido map reflects the values of its creators. Unlike some Western maps that placed Europe at the center, this map positions East Asia as the focal point, with China and Korea dominating the landscape. This wasn't just a matter of national pride, it was a reflection of how the mapmakers saw their place in the world. For them, the known world wasn't just a collection of lands, it was a network of relationships shaped by trade, diplomacy, and shared knowledge. The map also includes annotations that provide insights into the cultures and peoples of distant lands. These notes, written in classical Chinese, describe everything from the customs of foreign societies to the resources found in different regions. It's a glimpse into how East Asian scholars viewed the world, not as a series of isolated territories, but as a tapestry of interconnected stories. This emphasis on understanding and connection sets the Kangnido map apart, making it not just a navigational tool, but a cultural artifact. Perhaps the most striking aspect of the Kangnido map is what it tells us about the preservation of prehistoric wisdom. By incorporating knowledge from diverse sources, the map serves as a bridge between ancient traditions and the emerging global consciousness of the early 15th century. It's a reminder that the wisdom of the past wasn't lost, it was carried forward, reshaped, and shared across generations. As we examine this ancient map, we're invited to reconsider our understanding of history. The Kangnido map isn't just a relic of the past, it's a challenge to the way we think about the contributions of different cultures to our collective knowledge. It reminds us that the story of human discovery isn't confined to one region or civilization. It's a global narrative shaped by countless voices and perspectives. And in that sense, the Kangnido map isn't just a map of the world. It's a map of humanity's shared journey toward understanding. Tucked away in the annals of cartographic history lies a map that reads like a riddle, the Xeno map. Crafted in the 16th century, this intriguing artifact claims to document the voyages of two Venetian brothers, Niccolo and Antonio Xeno, who allegedly sailed the North Atlantic in the late 14th century. At first glance, the map seems to be a straightforward depiction of the region, but look closer and you'll find a labyrinth of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. The Xeno map doesn't just show familiar coastlines, it includes enigmatic islands and landmasses that defy identification. One of the most striking features is a place labeled Friesland, a large island that appears to lie between Iceland and Greenland. The problem, no such island exists, at least not in the modern geography of the North Atlantic. This discrepancy has led to decades of speculation. Could Friesland be a misrepresentation of Iceland or Greenland? Or does it point to something even more extraordinary, a landmass that has since disappeared beneath the waves, lost to time and the shifting forces of nature? Adding to the intrigue is the map's depiction of another mysterious location, Estetiland. Described as a place rich in timber, gold, and advanced technology, Estetiland has been compared to the fabled lost city of Atlantis. Some researchers suggest it might represent parts of North America, while others argue it could be a mythical invention. The truth remains elusive, but one thing is clear. The Xeno map isn't just a record of exploration, it's a gateway to questions about what ancient mariners might have known and what they were searching for. What's particularly fascinating about the Xeno map is how it straddles the line between fact and fiction. While some elements, like the coastlines of Greenland and Iceland, are surprisingly accurate, others seem to belong to the realm of legend. This blend of the real and the imagined raises an important question. Was the map based on actual voyages, or was it a clever compilation of second-hand accounts and imaginative embellishments? The Xeno brothers themselves claim to have explored these regions, but their accounts are riddled with inconsistencies, leaving historians to wonder how much of their story can be trusted. The map's origins only deepen the mystery. It was published in 1558 by a descendant of the Xeno brothers, Niccolo Xeno the Younger, who claimed to have discovered his ancestors' letters and charts. But skeptics argue that the map might have been a deliberate fabrication, designed to bolster the family's reputation or even to support political agendas of the time. Could the Xeno map be a masterpiece of medieval marketing, or does it hold kernels of truth about voyages that history has otherwise forgotten? Regardless of its authenticity, the Xeno map offers a tantalizing glimpse into the possibilities of prehistoric maritime knowledge. It suggests that long before the age of Columbus, explorers may have ventured into the North Atlantic, charting unknown waters and encountering lands that have since faded from memory. Whether these voyages were real or imagined, the map speaks to humanity's enduring fascination with the unknown, a drive to push beyond the horizon and discover what lies beyond. And perhaps that's the real value of the Xeno map. It's not just a piece of parchment, it's a mirror reflecting our timeless curiosity. It reminds us that maps are more than just tools for navigation. They're stories shaped by the hopes, fears, and imaginations of the people who create them. In the case of the Xeno map, those stories are as much about the mysteries of the North Atlantic as they are about the human spirit's relentless quest for discovery. And in that sense, even if the map's details remain shrouded in doubt, its message is crystal clear. The world is full of secrets waiting for those bold enough to seek them out. Now, let's step into the world of the Tabula Rogeriana, a map that stands as a testament to the brilliance of Islamic cartography and the power of cross-cultural collaboration. Created in 1154 by the renowned geographer Al-Idrisi, this map is more than a navigational tool, it's a masterpiece that captures the intellectual spirit of the Islamic Golden Age. Commissioned by King Roger Roman II of Sicily, a Christian ruler with a deep appreciation for Islamic scholarship, the Tabula Rogeriana is a stunning example of how knowledge transcends borders, blending the wisdom of ancient traditions with the scientific advancements of its time. What sets this map apart is its sheer ambition. Unlike many medieval maps which often prioritized symbolism over accuracy, the Tabula Rogeriana was designed with precision in mind. It depicts the known world from Spain to Korea, divided into 70 sections, each meticulously detailed with cities, rivers, mountains, and trade routes. Al-Idrisi didn't rely solely on existing maps or texts. He gathered information from travelers, merchants, and scholars, compiling a wealth of first-hand knowledge that made his work unparalleled in its accuracy. The result is a map that feels almost modern in its scope and detail, a remarkable achievement for the 12th century. But the Tabula Rogeriana isn't just a triumph of geography, it's also a bridge between worlds. Al-Idrisi, a Muslim scholar working under the patronage of a Christian king, embodied the spirit of cultural exchange that defined medieval Sicily. This island, a crossroads of civilizations, became a melting pot of ideas where Islamic, Christian, and Jewish scholars worked side by side. The map reflects this harmony, drawing on the scientific traditions of the Islamic world while incorporating insights from other cultures. It's a reminder that progress often comes from collaboration, not competition. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Tabula Rogeriana is how it preserves ancient geographic knowledge. Al-Idrisi didn't just chart the world as it was known in his time. He incorporated elements of prehistoric wisdom, blending the old with the new. For example, the map includes references to legendary places like the Mountains of the Moon, thought to be the source of the Nile. These nods to ancient myths and traditions show that Al-Idrisi wasn't just interested in the physical world. He sought to capture the stories and beliefs that shaped how people understood it. In doing so, he created a map that was as much about history as it was about geography. What's equally impressive is the map's influence. The Tabula Rogeriana became a cornerstone of medieval geography, used by scholars and explorers for centuries. Its detailed depictions of regions like Africa and Asia provided a foundation for later cartographers, shaping how Europeans viewed the wider world. but perhaps its greatest legacy is the way it challenges our assumptions about the relationship between science and culture. In a time often remembered for religious conflict, the Tabula Rogeriana stands as a symbol of what can be achieved when different traditions come together in pursuit of knowledge. As we study this extraordinary map, we're reminded that the past is full of stories waiting to be rediscovered. The Tabula Rogeriana isn't just a relic of the Islamic Golden Age, it's a living document, a testament to the power of curiosity and collaboration. It invites us to see the world not as a collection of separate lands and peoples, but as a connected whole shaped by the shared wisdom of countless generations. And in that sense, it's not just a map, it's a celebration of humanity's endless quest to understand the world and our place within it. Among the many treasures of Renaissance cartography, the Oran's fine world map stands out as a striking symbol of a world in flux. Crafted in 1531 by the French mathematician and cartographer Oran's Fine, this map is more than just a representation of the Earth. It's a visual metaphor for the seismic shifts taking place during the Renaissance. Breaking away from the circular or rectangular formats of earlier maps, Fine chose a heart-shaped projection, a bold and innovative design that captures the spirit of an age defined by curiosity, creativity, and a hunger for discovery. This heart-shaped map isn't just an artistic flourish, it's a deliberate attempt to reconcile the old with the new. Fine drew on ancient sources like the work of the Greek geographer Ptolemy, while also incorporating the latest findings from European explorers. The result is a map that feels both timeless and forward-looking, a bridge between the medieval world and the dawn of modern science. For Fine, the heart shape wasn't just about aesthetics, it was a way to represent the Earth as a unified whole, a living, interconnected system that mirrored the human body itself. But what makes this map so significant is how it reflects the changing worldview of the Renaissance. Gone are the fantastical creatures and mythological embellishments of medieval maps. Instead, Fine's work focuses on accuracy and detail, marking coastlines, rivers, and mountain ranges with remarkable precision. Even so, the map isn't without its mysteries. It includes speculative elements like the hypothetical southern continent that many scholars of the time believed balanced the Earth's landmasses. This blend of empirical observation and imaginative speculation is a hallmark of Renaissance thinking, a willingness to push boundaries while still respecting the wisdom of the past. The Oran's fine world map also highlights the role of mathematics in reshaping how people understood the world. Fine, a skilled mathematician, used sophisticated calculations to create his projection, reflecting the growing influence of science on cartography. This wasn't just about drawing lines on paper, it was about using numbers and geometry to unlock the secrets of the Earth. In doing so, Fine and his contemporaries laid the groundwork for the maps we use today, transforming cartography from an art into a science. Yet, for all its technical brilliance, the map retains a sense of wonder. It's a reminder that the Renaissance wasn't just about facts and figures, it was about reimagining what was possible. Fine's heart-shaped projection invites us to see the world not as a static object but as a dynamic, ever-changing entity, full of potential and mystery. It's a perspective that feels surprisingly modern, echoing our own fascination with the interconnectedness of life on Earth. As we study this remarkable map, we're reminded of the power of perspective. The Oran's fine world map isn't just a snapshot of the Earth as it was understood in the 16th century. It's a testament to the human capacity for reinvention. It shows us how the past can inspire the future, how ancient wisdom can be reinterpreted to meet the challenges of a new age. And in that sense, it's not just a map, it's a celebration of the endless possibilities that come when we dare to see the world in a new way. Imagine a map so valuable, so secretive, that it had to be smuggled across borders, hidden from prying eyes. This is the story of the Cantino Planisphere, a masterpiece of cartography created in 1502 and one of the most daring acts of espionage in the history of exploration. Named after its courier, Alberto Cantino, an Italian spy working for the Duke of Ferrara, this map wasn't just a navigational tool. It was a treasure trove of secrets, detailing the latest discoveries of Portuguese explorers in Africa, India, and Brazil. But its creation wasn't just about geography. It was a high-stakes game of intelligence and intrigue, revealing how knowledge was as valuable as gold in the age of exploration. What makes the Cantino Planisphere so extraordinary is its level of detail. For the first time, a map showed the true shape of the African coastline, painstakingly charted by Portuguese sailors like Bartolomeu Dias and Vasco da Gama. It also included the earliest accurate depiction of Brazil, a landmass that had only recently been claimed by Portugal. This wasn't just a map, it was a snapshot of a world in transition, capturing the moment when Europe's understanding of the globe expanded dramatically. But here's the twist: this map wasn't meant for public eyes. It was a secret document smuggled out of Portugal by Cantino to give his patron a competitive edge in the race for global dominance. The Cantino Planisphere raises fascinating questions about the role of espionage in the age of exploration. In a time when geographic knowledge was closely guarded, maps like this one were more than just tools, they were weapons. Whoever held this information could control trade routes, claim new territories, and outmaneuver their rivals. The map's existence reminds us that exploration wasn't just about adventure, it was about power. And in this case, it was also about betrayal. By smuggling the map, Cantino exposed the fragility of trust between nations, showing how easily secrets could be stolen and sold to the highest bidder. But beyond its role as a spy's trophy, the Cantino Planisphere also hints at something deeper: the loss of prehistoric wisdom. As European explorers charted new lands, they often dismissed or erased the knowledge of the indigenous peoples they encountered. The map's detailed depictions of Africa and Brazil are based on European observations, but they don't reflect the rich geographic understanding of the peoples who had lived there for centuries. This raises a haunting question: how much ancient knowledge was lost or ignored during the age of exploration? The Cantino Planisphere is a reminder that every map tells not just one story, but many, some of which remain untold. What's equally intriguing is how the map reflects the global ambitions of its time. The Cantino Planisphere doesn't just show Portugal's discoveries, it reveals a world that was becoming increasingly interconnected. From the spice-rich coasts of India to the uncharted forests of Brazil, the map captures the beginnings of globalization, a process that would reshape the world in ways its creators could never have imagined. Yet, for all its forward-looking vision, the map also carries echoes of the past. Its intricate details and careful craftsmanship show that its creators were still deeply influenced by the cartographic traditions of earlier eras, blending ancient wisdom with cutting-edge knowledge. As we study the Cantino Planisphere, we're reminded that maps are never neutral. They're shaped by the priorities and prejudices of their creators, and sometimes by the shadowy world of espionage. This map isn't just a record of geographic discovery, it's a testament to the lengths people will go to control knowledge and power. It challenges us to consider how much of history is shaped by hidden agendas, and how much of the past remains shrouded in mystery. In the end, the Cantino Planisphere isn't just a map, it's a story of ambition, intrigue, and the enduring quest to understand our world. And in that story, there are still secrets waiting to be uncovered. In the year 1507, a map was published that would forever change how the world saw itself. Known as the Waldseemüller Map, this groundbreaking work didn't just chart new lands, it gave them a name. For the first time in history, the term America appeared on a printed map, a tribute to the explorer Amerigo Vespucci and his accounts of the lands across the Atlantic. But this map is far more than a historical footnote. It's a snapshot of a world in transformation, capturing the moment when European cartographers began to grasp the true scale of the Americas and the profound implications of their discoveries. What makes the Waldseemüller Map so extraordinary is its boldness. It wasn't just a cautious update of existing knowledge, it was a radical reimagining of the world. The map shows a vast, uninterrupted stretch of land that we now recognize as South America, depicted with surprising accuracy. To the north, the continent is less defined, hinting at the mysteries that still lay beyond the reach of explorers. But the real revolution lies in the map's labeling. By naming this new land America, Waldseemüller and his collaborators were making a statement. This wasn't just another island or peninsula, it was a whole new world deserving of its own identity. The decision to name the continent after Vespucci wasn't arbitrary. Vespucci's writings, which described the lands he encountered as a new world, had a profound impact on European thinkers. Unlike Columbus, who believed he had reached the outskirts of Asia, Vespucci recognized that these lands were something entirely different, a separate continent unknown to European knowledge. This realization was a seismic shift, challenging centuries of assumptions about the shape and size of the Earth. The Waldseemüller Map captured this moment of awakening, marking the beginning of a new era in global understanding. But the map's significance goes beyond its naming conventions. It's also a testament to the power of collaboration and innovation. Created by the German cartographer Martin Waldseemüller and his colleague Matthias Ringmann, the map was part of a larger project to document the latest geographic knowledge. It drew on a variety of sources, from ancient texts to the first-hand accounts of explorers, blending the wisdom of the past with the discoveries of the present. In doing so, it created a bridge between old and new, showing how the prehistoric knowledge of earlier civilizations could be reinterpreted in light of new discoveries. One of the most striking features of the Waldseemüller Map is its use of projection. Unlike earlier maps, which often distorted the size and shape of continents, this map employed a more sophisticated approach, reflecting the growing influence of mathematics and science on cartography. The result is a map that feels remarkably modern, with a level of detail and precision that was ahead of its time. It's a reminder that the Renaissance wasn't just a rebirth of art and culture. It was also a revolution in how people understood the physical world. Yet, for all its technical brilliance, the Waldseemüller Map also raises important questions about the legacy of exploration. By naming the continent America, it enshrined Vespucci's role in its discovery, overshadowing the contributions of indigenous peoples who had lived there for millennia. This act of naming wasn't just a cartographic decision, it was a cultural statement reflecting the Eurocentric worldview of its creators. It's a reminder that maps are never neutral. They're shaped by the priorities and perspectives of those who make them. As we study the Waldseemüller Map, we're reminded of the complex interplay between discovery and identity, knowledge and power. It's a map that captures a pivotal moment in history when the world began to see itself in a new way. But it's also a map that invites us to reflect on the stories we tell about the past, and who gets to tell them. In the end, the Waldseemüller Map isn't just a record of geographic discovery. It's a mirror reflecting the ambitions, biases, and possibilities of its time. And in that reflection, we see not just the world as it was, but the world as it could be. Now, let's turn our attention to a map that embodies the spirit of collaboration and curiosity, the Fra Mauro map. Crafted in 1450 in Venice, this extraordinary work is often hailed as one of the most detailed and accurate maps of the medieval world. But what makes it truly remarkable isn't just its precision. It's the way it weaves together knowledge from across the globe, blending insights from Arab, Chinese, and European traditions into a single, cohesive masterpiece. The Fra Mauro map isn't just a map, it's a testament to the interconnectedness of ancient civilizations and their shared quest to understand the world around them. At the heart of this map lies a profound respect for the wisdom of others. Unlike many medieval maps that centered solely on Europe, the Fra Mauro map offers a truly global perspective. It stretches from the Atlantic Ocean in the west to the islands of Southeast Asia in the east, capturing the vastness of the known world with a level of detail that was unprecedented for its time. Rivers, mountains, and cities are meticulously plotted, reflecting the latest geographic knowledge available. But what's even more striking is how the map incorporates information from diverse sources. Arab traders, Chinese explorers, and European scholars all contributed to its creation, making it a true collaborative effort that transcended cultural and linguistic barriers. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Fra Mauro map is how it preserves and builds upon prehistoric wisdom. While it reflects the latest discoveries of its time, it also acknowledges the contributions of earlier civilizations. For example, the map includes references to the ancient Greek geographer Ptolemy, whose work laid the foundation for much of medieval cartography, yet it doesn't stop there. The map also integrates knowledge from Islamic scholars who had preserved and expanded upon classical learning during Europe's so-called Dark Ages. This blending of old and new, east and west, creates a map that feels both timeless and forward-looking, a bridge between the past and the future. But the Fra Mauro map isn't just a technical achievement, it's also a window into the worldview of its creators. Unlike earlier maps that placed Jerusalem at the center, this one takes a more egalitarian approach, presenting the world as a shared space rather than a hierarchy of faith or power. It's a subtle but profound shift, reflecting the growing awareness that knowledge isn't confined to one culture or tradition. Instead, it's a collective endeavor shaped by the contributions of countless individuals across time and space. What's equally compelling is how the map challenges our modern assumptions about the medieval world. Far from being a time of isolation and ignorance, the 15th century was a period of vibrant exchange and dialogue. Venice, where the map was created, was a bustling hub of trade and diplomacy, a place where ideas flowed as freely as goods. The Fra Mauro map captures this spirit of openness, showing how the pursuit of knowledge can bring people together, even across vast distances and cultural divides. As we study this remarkable map, we're reminded that the quest to understand the world is a universal human endeavor. The Fra Mauro map isn't just a relic of the past, it's a celebration of the curiosity and collaboration that drive us to explore, to learn, and to connect. It invites us to see the world not as a collection of separate lands and peoples, but as a shared space, rich with stories and possibilities. And in that sense, it's not just a map, it's a reflection of the human spirit, forever reaching beyond the horizon in search of understanding. Now, let's journey to the late 14th century, where a map emerges as a stunning fusion of art, science, and imagination. The Catalan Atlas, crafted in 1375 by the Majorcan cartographer Abraham Cresques, this masterpiece is more than just a map, it's a vibrant tapestry that captures the spirit of its time. With its intricate illustrations, detailed trade routes, and a sprinkling of mythical creatures, the Catalan Atlas isn't just a navigational tool. It's a window into the medieval mind, revealing how the pursuit of knowledge intertwined with the allure of the unknown. At first glance, the map is a feast for the eyes. Richly colored and meticulously detailed, it spans from the Mediterranean to the far reaches of Asia, charting the known world with remarkable precision. Cities rise like jewels along its coastlines, connected by a web of trade routes that crisscross deserts, mountains, and seas. But what truly sets the Catalan Atlas apart is its blend of the factual and the fantastical. Alongside realistic depictions of kings, merchants, and caravans, you'll find mythical beasts like griffins and dragons, as well as figures from legend, such as the Magi traveling toward Bethlehem. These elements aren't just decorative, they're a reflection of how medieval mapmakers saw the world, a place where reality and imagination coexisted, each enriching the other. The map also serves as a testament to the importance of commerce in the medieval world. At its heart lies the Mediterranean, a bustling hub of trade where goods, ideas, and cultures flowed freely. The Catalan Atlas doesn't just show the geography of these routes, it brings them to life, depicting merchants haggling in bazaars, ships laden with spices and silks, and caravans winding through the Sahara. This focus on trade reflects the growing interconnectedness of the medieval world, a system that relied as much on knowledge of distant lands as it did on the goods themselves. For Cresques and his contemporaries, mapping wasn't just about exploration, it was about survival, prosperity, and the exchange of ideas. What's equally fascinating is how the Catalan Atlas builds on the wisdom of earlier civilizations. While it reflects the latest geographic knowledge of its time, it also incorporates elements of prehistoric and classical traditions. For example, the map includes references to the legendary kingdom of Prester John, a mythical Christian ruler believed to reign in the East. This blending of old and new highlights how medieval mapmakers didn't discard ancient knowledge, they adapted it, weaving it into their understanding of the world. In doing so, they created maps that were both practical and profound, tools for navigation as well as sources of wonder. But perhaps the most striking aspect of the Catalan Atlas is how it captures the medieval fascination with the unknown. The edges of the map are filled with mysterious lands and fantastical creatures, places that existed more in the imagination than in reality. These depictions weren't just flights of fancy, they were expressions of curiosity, a way of grappling with the vastness of the world and the limits of human knowledge. For medieval viewers, the map wasn't just a guide, it was an invitation to dream, to wonder what lay beyond the horizon. As we study this extraordinary map, we're reminded that the act of mapping is as much about storytelling as it is about geography. The Catalan Atlas isn't just a record of the world as it was known in the 14th century. It's a reflection of the hopes, fears, and aspirations of the people who created it. It shows us how maps can be both practical tools and works of art, blending the real and the imagined to create a richer understanding of the world. And in that sense, the Catalan Atlas isn't just a map, it's a celebration of the human spirit's endless quest to explore, to understand, and to imagine. As the Renaissance dawned, Europe found itself rediscovering the brilliance of an ancient mind, Claudius Ptolemy, a 2nd century Greek geographer whose meticulous work had been all but forgotten for over a millennium. Ptolemy's maps, once buried in the sands of time, were unearthed and embraced by Renaissance scholars, sparking a revolution in how the world was understood and mapped. These weren't just relics of the past, they were blueprints for the future, offering a level of precision and methodology that would lay the groundwork for modern cartography. Ptolemy's work reminds us that even in the darkest ages, the light of ancient wisdom never truly fades, it waits patiently to be rediscovered. At the heart of Ptolemy's contribution was his groundbreaking approach to geography. Unlike earlier maps, which often relied on mythology and symbolism, Ptolemy's maps were rooted in mathematics and observation. He introduced the concept of latitude and longitude, creating a grid system that allowed for more accurate placement of landmarks, cities, and natural features. This wasn't just a technical innovation, it was a philosophical shift. Ptolemy saw the world not as a collection of disconnected places, but as a unified whole, governed by rules that could be measured and understood. His maps were a testament to the power of reason and the human capacity to unlock the secrets of the earth. What makes Ptolemy's work so remarkable is how it endured. After the fall of the Roman Empire, his maps were preserved and studied by Islamic scholars, who expanded on his ideas and kept his legacy alive during Europe's so-called Dark Ages. When these maps finally made their way back to Europe during the Renaissance, they were met with awe and inspiration. Scholars like Gerardus Mercator and Martin Waldseemüller built on Ptolemy's foundations, using his methods to create maps that were more accurate and detailed than ever before. In this way, Ptolemy's work became a bridge between ancient and modern knowledge, showing how the wisdom of the past could be revived and reimagined. But Ptolemy's influence wasn't just about accuracy, it was also about perspective. His maps challenged the medieval worldview, which often placed Jerusalem at the center of the earth. Instead, Ptolemy's work presented the world as it truly is, a vast, interconnected system of lands and seas. This shift in perspective was more than just cartographic, it was cultural. It paved the way for the age of exploration, encouraging adventurers like Columbus and Magellan to set sail in search of new horizons. Ptolemy's maps didn't just show the world, they inspired people to explore it. Yet, for all their brilliance, Ptolemy's maps weren't without their flaws. His calculations of the Earth's size were famously off, leading some to believe that the journey to Asia by sailing west would be shorter than it actually was. This miscalculation, ironically, played a role in Columbus's accidental discovery of the Americas. But even these imperfections highlight the enduring value of Ptolemy's work. They remind us that progress is built on trial and error, and that even the greatest minds can learn from their mistakes. What's perhaps most striking about Ptolemy's maps is how they continue to resonate today. They're a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is a timeless endeavor, one that transcends cultures, centuries, and continents. In an age of satellites and GPS, it's easy to forget how much we owe to the pioneers who came before us. Ptolemy's work challenges us to remember that the maps we use today are the product of centuries of discovery, innovation, and collaboration. They're not just tools for navigation, they're a testament to the enduring power of curiosity and the human spirit's unyielding drive to understand the world. As we study Ptolemy's maps, we're reminded that the past is never truly lost. It's a living, breathing part of who we are, shaping the way we see the world and our place within it. Ptolemy's legacy isn't just a chapter in the history of cartography. It's a story of resilience, revival, and the timeless quest for knowledge. And in that story, we find not just the roots of modern geography, but the enduring spirit of exploration that continues to drive us forward. As we sail further into the mysteries of ancient maps, we encounter a tool that revolutionized navigation and left historians scratching their heads: the Portolan charts. These medieval marvels, crafted between the 13th and 15th centuries, are unlike any maps that came before them. They're not just maps, they're masterpieces of precision, offering strikingly accurate depictions of coastlines, harbors, and sea routes. But here's the twist: no one knows exactly how they were made. The origins of Portolan charts are as enigmatic as the seas they helped explorers navigate, sparking debates that continue to this day. What makes these charts so extraordinary is their level of detail. Unlike the symbolic or celestial maps of earlier eras, Portolan charts were practical tools designed to guide sailors through treacherous waters. They feature intricate networks of rhumb lines, straight lines radiating from compass points that allowed navigators to plot courses with remarkable accuracy. The coastlines are drawn with a level of precision that seems almost impossible for the time, raising questions about the methods and knowledge behind their creation. How did medieval cartographers, without access to modern surveying tools, produce such accurate maps? Some researchers believe the answer lies in a secret passed down through generations, ancient knowledge preserved and refined over centuries. One of the most compelling theories suggests that Portolan charts were based on older, lost maps, possibly dating back to Roman or even Phoenician times. These ancient seafaring cultures were known for their navigational expertise, and it's possible that their knowledge was preserved and adapted by medieval sailors. If true, this would mean that portolan charts are more than just medieval creations, they're living links to a prehistoric maritime tradition, a testament to the enduring power of ancient wisdom. It's a tantalizing idea, one that challenges our assumptions about the so-called Dark Ages and the flow of knowledge across time, but the mystery doesn't end there. Portolan charts also raise questions about the interconnectedness of medieval cultures. Many of these maps were created in the Mediterranean, a melting pot of civilizations where Arab, European, and Byzantine influences mingled freely. Could the charts be the product of this cultural exchange, blending techniques and knowledge from diverse traditions? The intricate designs and practical utility of portolan charts suggest that their creators were drawing on a rich tapestry of shared expertise, making them a symbol of collaboration as much as innovation. What's equally fascinating is how these charts highlight the practical applications of prehistoric wisdom. For medieval sailors, navigation wasn't just about getting from one place to another, it was about survival. A single miscalculation could mean disaster, and the accuracy of portolan charts made them indispensable tools for trade, exploration, and conquest. They remind us that knowledge, especially when it comes to the natural world, is often born out of necessity. The charts weren't just maps, they were lifelines connecting distant lands and shaping the course of history. Yet, for all their precision, portolan charts also have an air of mystery. They're filled with symbols and annotations that hint at the dangers and wonders of the sea whirlpools, sea monsters, and hidden treasures. These elements aren't just decorative, they're reminders of the risks and rewards of maritime exploration. In a time when the ocean was both a highway and a hazard, portolan charts offered a way to navigate the unknown, blending the practical with the poetic. As we study these remarkable maps, we're reminded of the enduring human drive to explore and understand the world. Portolan charts aren't just relics of the past, they're a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of those who dared to venture beyond the horizon. They challenge us to reconsider how knowledge is preserved and passed down, and how the wisdom of one era can illuminate the path for another. In the end, these charts are more than just maps, they're a story of curiosity, courage, and the timeless quest to chart the unknown. Now, let's turn our gaze upward to the stars that have guided humanity for millennia. Many of the world's oldest maps aren't just about the land or the sea, they're also about the sky. Celestial navigation, the art of using the stars, sun, and moon to chart a course, was a cornerstone of ancient exploration, and it's no surprise that this cosmic knowledge found its way into the maps these cultures created. From the Babylonians to the Polynesians, the heavens were more than just a backdrop. They were a map in themselves, a celestial guide that connected the physical world to the rhythms of the universe. Take, for example, the ancient Polynesians, who navigated vast stretches of the Pacific Ocean without the aid of compasses or sextants. Instead, they relied on an intimate understanding of the stars. By memorizing the positions of key constellations and tracking their movements, Polynesian navigators could pinpoint their location with astonishing accuracy. Their maps weren't drawn on parchment or carved into stone. They were etched into memory, passed down through generations in the form of chants and stories. This oral tradition, combined with a deep reverence for the natural world, allowed them to traverse thousands of miles of open ocean with confidence and precision. But the Polynesians weren't alone in their celestial pursuits. The ancient Babylonians, too, were master astronomers, meticulously recording the movements of the stars and planets. Their knowledge of the heavens wasn't just about navigation, it was also intertwined with their spiritual and cultural practices. The Babylonian World Map, which we explored earlier, reflects this connection. While it primarily depicts the Earth, its circular design and symbolic elements hint at the cosmic worldview that shaped their understanding of the world. For the Babylonians, the stars weren't just tools for travel, they were divine markers guiding not only their journeys but also their rituals and beliefs. The integration of celestial navigation into map-making reveals something profound about prehistoric civilizations, their ability to synthesize knowledge from multiple disciplines. Astronomy, geography, and mythology often overlapped in their maps, creating a rich tapestry of meaning. Consider the Hereford Mappa Mundi with its depiction of the heavens surrounding the Earth. This wasn't just an artistic choice, it was a reflection of the medieval belief that the cosmos was an integral part of the human experience. By including celestial elements, mapmakers weren't just charting the physical world, they were mapping the relationship between humanity and the universe. What's equally fascinating is how these ancient techniques resonate with modern science. Today, we use satellites and GPS to navigate the globe, but the principles behind these technologies echo the methods used by our ancestors. The stars that guided the Polynesians and the Babylonians are the same stars we use to calibrate our instruments and explore the farthest reaches of space. In this sense, celestial navigation isn't just a relic of the past, it's a living tradition, a testament to humanity's enduring quest to understand the cosmos. As we study these celestial maps, we're reminded of the ingenuity and resourcefulness of prehistoric civilizations. They didn't have the tools we take for granted today, but they found ways to navigate the world with remarkable skill and precision. Their maps weren't just practical tools, they were expressions of a worldview that saw the Earth and the heavens as inseparable. And in that worldview, we find a profound truth that the act of mapping is as much about exploring the unknown as it is about understanding our place within it. So, the next time you look up at the night sky, remember that you're gazing at the same stars that guided ancient explorers across uncharted seas and vast deserts. Those stars weren't just points of light, they were beacons, illuminating the path to discovery and connecting humanity across time and space. In the end, the maps they inspired are more than just records of the past. They're invitations to keep exploring, to keep reaching for the stars, and to keep uncovering the wisdom of those who came before us. Mythology and geography were never truly separate in the ancient world. They were two sides of the same coin, intertwined in ways that shaped how people saw the world around them. When we look at the maps of antiquity, we're not just seeing lines and landmarks, we're glimpsing into the minds of the people who created them. These maps weren't just tools for navigation, they were stories filled with gods, monsters, and legendary lands that reflected the beliefs and values of their time. To understand these maps is to understand how ancient cultures made sense of their place in a world that was both familiar and full of mystery. Take, for instance, the Hereford Mappa Mundi, which we've touched on earlier. This medieval masterpiece isn't content with simply charting the physical world. Alongside rivers and mountains, it features biblical tales, mythical creatures, and fantastical places like the Garden of Eden and the Tower of Babel. These elements weren't added as mere decoration, they were central to the map's purpose. For the people of the Middle Ages, the world wasn't just a collection of places, it was a stage where divine and earthly forces interacted. By including these mythological elements, the mapmakers were weaving a narrative that connected geography to faith, showing how the physical and spiritual realms were deeply connected. But this blending of myth and map wasn't unique to medieval Europe. The ancient Greeks, too, infused their maps with stories of gods and heroes. The legendary island of Atlantis, first described by Plato, is perhaps the most famous example. Though it's often dismissed as pure myth, the story of Atlantis reveals how the Greeks used geography to explore philosophical ideas. Atlantis wasn't just a lost island, it was a cautionary tale about hubris and the fragility of civilization. By placing it on the edge of their known world, Greek mapmakers weren't just documenting a place, they were reflecting on the nature of power, morality, and the human condition. Similarly, the Babylonian World Map, with its circular design and symbolic outer regions, tells us as much about mythology as it does about geography. The map's outer rings, labeled as distant and mysterious lands, were home to gods, monsters, and otherworldly beings. For the Babylonians, these weren't just uncharted territories, they were realms of wonder and danger, places where the boundaries between the natural and the supernatural blurred. This perspective reminds us that ancient maps weren't just about where things were, they were about what they meant. What's fascinating is how these mythological elements served a practical purpose. In a world without satellites or GPS, maps were more than just tools for getting from one place to another. They were guides for understanding the world in its entirety. By including mythical creatures and legendary lands, mapmakers were helping their audiences make sense of the unknown. These elements weren't just flights of fancy, they were ways of grappling with the vastness and complexity of the world, of turning the unfamiliar into something comprehensible. But mythology didn't just fill in the gaps of knowledge, it also shaped how people thought about exploration and discovery. The Norse sagas, for example, are filled with tales of voyages to mythical lands like Vinland and Thule. These stories weren't just entertainment, they inspired real-world expeditions, pushing sailors to venture beyond the horizon in search of new lands and opportunities. In this way, mythology wasn't just a reflection of the past, it was a driving force for the future, shaping how people approached the unknown. As we study these ancient maps, we're reminded that the act of mapping is as much about storytelling as it is about geography. Every line, every symbol, every mythological creature is part of a larger narrative, one that reveals how people saw themselves in relation to the world around them. These maps challenge us to consider how much of our own worldview is shaped by the stories we tell, and how much of what we think we know about the world is colored by the myths and legends we inherit. In the end, the mythological elements of ancient maps aren't just curiosities, they're windows into the human experience. They show us how people grappled with the mysteries of existence, how they sought to understand their place in a world that was both vast and interconnected. And they remind us that, even in our modern age of science and technology, the stories we tell about the world still shape how we see it. These maps aren't just relics of the past, they're invitations to explore the stories that define us, and to consider how much of the world's wisdom is waiting to be rediscovered. The Library of Alexandria stands as one of history's most poignant symbols of knowledge lost. Imagine a place where the world's greatest minds gathered, where scrolls and maps from every corner of the known world were collected, studied, and preserved. This wasn't just a library, it was a beacon of enlightenment, a treasure trove of human understanding that held the keys to the past and the promise of the future. Yet, its destruction remains one of the most devastating blows to our collective memory, leaving us to wonder what secrets it might have held about the prehistoric world and the wisdom of ancient civilizations. At its height, the Library of Alexandria was more than a repository of books. It was a living, breathing hub of intellectual exchange. Scholars from Greece, Egypt, Persia, and beyond came to study its vast collections, which included not only philosophical treatises and scientific texts, but also some of the most detailed maps of the ancient world. These maps weren't just records of geography, they were windows into the minds of the people who created them, offering insights into how they understood their place in the cosmos. The library's collection likely included works from legendary figures like Ptolemy, whose groundbreaking cartography we've already explored, as well as maps from even older, now forgotten cultures. The loss of these documents means we've lost a critical link to the prehistoric wisdom they may have contained. The destruction of the library is shrouded in mystery and debate. Historians point to multiple events, fires, invasions, and political upheavals that may have contributed to its demise over the centuries. Each layer of destruction chipped away at humanity's collective memory, erasing not just individual texts but entire traditions of knowledge. Imagine the maps that might have been lost, detailed charts of ancient trade routes, celestial maps used by early astronomers, or even depictions of lands that have since vanished beneath the waves. These documents could have rewritten our understanding of history, revealing connections between cultures and continents that we've only begun to uncover. But the loss of the Library of Alexandria isn't just about the maps and texts that were destroyed, it's about the knowledge that might have been. Think of the questions we could have answered. How did ancient civilizations navigate the seas without modern instruments? What did they know about the stars and their movements? How did they perceive the boundaries between the natural and the supernatural? The library's collection might have held the answers, preserved in the words and images of those who came before us. Instead, we're left with fragments, hints, and clues that tease us with what might have been. Yet, even in its absence, the Library of Alexandria continues to inspire. Its legacy reminds us of the fragility of knowledge and the importance of preserving what we have. It also challenges us to consider how much of history's wisdom has been lost, not just in the flames of Alexandria, but in the countless other libraries, archives, and traditions that have been destroyed or forgotten over time. Every map we've explored in this series is a testament to humanity's enduring curiosity, but it's also a reminder of how much we stand to lose if we don't protect our shared heritage. As we reflect on the Library of Alexandria, we're confronted with a bittersweet truth. The past is both a treasure and a mystery. The maps and texts that were lost there are gone forever, but their absence compels us to keep searching, to keep uncovering the wisdom of those who came before us. In a way, the library's story is a call to action, a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is never finished, and that every map we study, every artifact we preserve, is a step toward reclaiming the wisdom of the ages. And in that pursuit, we honor not just the lost library, but the countless generations who dared to dream, to explore, and to map the unknown. Trade routes have always been more than just arteries of commerce. They were lifelines of knowledge, connecting distant civilizations and weaving a tapestry of shared understanding. When we look at ancient maps, we're not just seeing lines and landmarks. We're witnessing the flow of ideas, traditions, and innovations that traveled along these routes. From the Silk Road to the Indian Ocean trade network, these pathways didn't just move spices, silk, and gold. They carried the wisdom of the ages, preserving and spreading geographic knowledge across continents. Consider the Silk Road, that sprawling network of trade routes that stretched from China to the Mediterranean. It wasn't just a highway for goods, it was a corridor of culture where merchants, scholars, and explorers exchanged more than just material wealth. Alongside bolts of silk and jars of spices, they shared maps, astronomical charts, and stories of distant lands. These exchanges weren't just incidental, they were vital to the development of cartography. A map created in Persia might incorporate knowledge from Chinese explorers, while a European chart could draw on the expertise of Arab navigators. The result was a blending of perspectives, a global mosaic of geographic understanding. But trade routes didn't just spread knowledge, they preserved it. In an age before printing presses and digital archives, the survival of ancient wisdom often depended on its ability to travel. Maps and geographic knowledge were copied, adapted, and passed down through generations of traders and travelers. For example, the Portolan charts we explored earlier were likely influenced by the navigational techniques of Arab sailors, who in turn had inherited knowledge from even older seafaring cultures. This chain of preservation ensured that prehistoric wisdom wasn't lost to time but was instead carried forward, evolving with each new generation. The significance of trade in shaping maps becomes even clearer when we look at specific examples. Take the Kangnido map created in Korea in the early 15th century. This remarkable map, which depicts Asia, Africa, and parts of Europe, is a testament to the power of trade as a conduit for knowledge. Its creators drew on information from Chinese, Islamic, and even European sources, blending these diverse perspectives into a single, cohesive vision. The map isn't just a record of geography, it's a snapshot of a world connected by commerce and curiosity. What's equally fascinating is how trade routes influenced the way maps were used. For merchants, maps weren't just tools for navigation, they were guides to opportunity. A detailed map could reveal the safest routes, the best markets, and the locations of valuable resources. This practical need drove the creation of more accurate and detailed maps, pushing cartographers to refine their techniques and expand their knowledge. In this way, trade didn't just preserve ancient wisdom, it fueled its evolution. Yet, the role of trade in cartography wasn't just about practicality, it was also about symbolism. Maps often reflected the worldview of the cultures that created them, and trade routes played a central role in shaping those worldviews. For example, the Catalan Atlas, with its intricate depictions of trade routes and bustling markets, shows how medieval Europeans saw commerce as a cornerstone of civilization. The map isn't just a guide, it's a celebration of the interconnectedness of the world, a reminder that knowledge and wealth were as much about connection as they were about conquest. As we explore the role of trade in the development of maps, we're reminded of the profound impact these routes had on human history. They weren't just pathways for goods, they were bridges between cultures, allowing ideas and knowledge to flow freely across borders. In a world where information was as precious as gold, trade routes ensured that the wisdom of one culture could become the heritage of many. And in that exchange, we find not just the roots of modern cartography, but the enduring spirit of curiosity and collaboration that continues to drive us forward. As we stand on the brink of a new era in cartographic research, the study of ancient maps is undergoing a transformation unlike anything we've seen before. Advances in technology are opening doors to discoveries that would have been unimaginable just a few decades ago. Satellite imaging, digital mapping, and artificial intelligence are not just tools, they're keys to unlocking the secrets of the past, revealing hidden details and connections that were once lost to time. These innovations are reshaping how we interpret ancient maps, offering fresh perspectives on the wisdom of prehistoric civilizations and the ways they understood their world. Take satellite imaging, for example. This technology allows us to see the Earth from a perspective that ancient mapmakers could only dream of. By overlaying modern satellite images with ancient maps, researchers can identify discrepancies, confirm accuracies, and even uncover lost landmarks. Imagine being able to pinpoint the exact location of a forgotten city or trade route that's hinted at on a centuries-old chart. It's like having a time machine, giving us the ability to compare the world as it was then with the world as it is now. This isn't just about validating the accuracy of ancient maps, it's about understanding the thought processes and priorities of the people who created them. What did they consider important enough to include? What did they leave out and why? These are questions that satellite imaging is helping us answer. Digital mapping is another game changer. By digitizing ancient maps, researchers can analyze them in ways that were never possible before. High-resolution scans allow us to zoom in on the tiniest details, revealing faded ink, hidden annotations, and even layers of corrections made over time. Digital tools also enable us to piece together fragments of damaged maps, reconstructing lost artifacts from scattered pieces. And with the help of AI, we can now identify patterns and connections that might have gone unnoticed. For instance, algorithms can analyze the stylistic features of maps to trace their origins or detect similarities between maps from different cultures, shedding light on the exchange of knowledge across time and space. But the impact of these technologies goes beyond just analysis. They're also democratizing access to ancient maps. Digitized collections are being made available online, allowing anyone with an internet connection to explore these treasures from the comfort of their own home. This accessibility is fostering a new era of collaboration, as scholars, historians, and even amateur enthusiasts from around the world can contribute to the study of these artifacts. Crowdsourced projects are helping to transcribe and translate ancient texts, while virtual reality is bringing these maps to life in immersive, interactive ways. It's a thrilling time to be a part of this field, as technology breaks down barriers and invites more voices into the conversation. What's perhaps most exciting is how these advancements are reshaping our understanding of prehistoric wisdom. Ancient maps were more than just tools for navigation. They were expressions of how people saw themselves in relation to the world around them. By studying these maps with modern tools, we're gaining new insights into the cosmological, spiritual, and cultural beliefs of the past. For example, digital analysis of celestial maps is revealing how ancient cultures used the stars not just for navigation, but as a way to connect with the divine. Similarly, satellite imagery is helping us understand how geographic features like rivers and mountains were imbued with symbolic meaning, shaping the way people interacted with their environment. As we look to the future, the possibilities are endless. Advances in machine learning and data visualization are poised to take our understanding of ancient maps to new heights, while interdisciplinary collaborations are opening up fresh avenues of research. Archaeologists, historians, and technologists are working together to piece together the puzzle of our shared past, using every tool at their disposal to uncover the stories hidden within these ancient artifacts. And as we continue to push the boundaries of what's possible, one thing is clear: the wisdom of the past is far from static. It's a living, breathing thing, constantly evolving as we bring new perspectives and technologies to bear. So, what does the future hold for ancient map studies? It's a future where the lines between the past and the present blur, where technology and tradition come together to illuminate the mysteries of our ancestors. It's a future where every map, no matter how old or fragile, has the potential to reveal new insights about the world and the people who came before us. And most importantly, it's a future where the wisdom of the past continues to inspire and guide us, reminding us that the act of mapping is not just about charting the land, it's about understanding our place in the universe. Ancient maps are more than just relics of the past. They're mirrors reflecting the timeless human spirit of curiosity and exploration. They remind us that the act of mapping isn't just about charting physical spaces. It's about understanding our place in the world and the universe. These maps, created by cultures separated by centuries and continents, share a common thread, a relentless drive to explore, to learn, and to connect. And in that shared spirit, they offer profound lessons for modern society, lessons about the value of curiosity, the power of perspective, and the enduring importance of preserving knowledge. One of the most striking lessons these maps teach us is the value of curiosity. Think about the Polynesian navigators who used the stars to traverse vast oceans, or the medieval cartographers who filled their maps with mythical creatures and uncharted lands. These weren't acts of mere practicality. They were expressions of wonder, a deep desire to understand the unknown. In a world where we often take knowledge for granted, ancient maps challenge us to reclaim that sense of wonder. They remind us that curiosity isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity, the spark that drives innovation and discovery. But ancient maps also teach us the importance of perspective. Take the Babylonian World Map with its symbolic outer rings representing the unknown, or the Hereford Mappa Mundi, which placed Jerusalem at the center of the world. These maps weren't just about geography, they were about how people saw themselves in relation to their surroundings. They remind us that every map is a product of its time and culture, shaped by the beliefs and priorities of its creators. In our modern era, where technology allows us to map the world with unprecedented precision, these ancient maps challenge us to consider how our own perspectives shape what we see and what we overlook. Another critical lesson lies in the interconnectedness of knowledge. The Tabula Rogeriana, for instance, drew on insights from Arab, Chinese, and European traditions, creating a truly global vision of the world. This blending of knowledge wasn't just a technical achievement, it was a testament to the power of collaboration. In a time when divisions often dominate the headlines, ancient maps remind us that progress comes from sharing ideas and building on the wisdom of others. They encourage us to look beyond borders, both literal and metaphorical, and to see the world as a shared space of learning and discovery. Perhaps the most poignant lesson is the fragility of knowledge. The loss of the Library of Alexandria, with its vast collection of maps and texts, stands as a stark reminder of how easily wisdom can be lost, but it also underscores the importance of preserving what we have. Ancient maps challenge us to be stewards of knowledge, to protect and honor the insights of those who came before us. In an age of digital archives and instant information, this is a lesson more relevant than ever. How do we ensure that the wisdom of our time is preserved for future generations? Ancient maps don't just inspire us to explore, they inspire us to remember. Ultimately, these maps invite us to approach the world with humility and wonder. They remind us that no matter how much we think we know, there's always more to discover. The Piri Reis Map, with its mysterious depiction of Antarctica, or the Xeno map with its speculative islands, challenge us to embrace the unknown rather than fear it. They encourage us to see the world not as a static place, but as a dynamic, ever-changing entity full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. As we reflect on these ancient maps, we're reminded that the pursuit of knowledge is a journey without end. They inspire us to keep asking questions, to keep exploring, and to keep pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible. And in that journey, we find not just the wisdom of the past, but the promise of the future. Ancient maps aren't just artifacts, they're invitations to see the world with fresh eyes, to approach life with curiosity and courage, and to remember that the greatest discoveries often begin with a single question: what lies beyond the horizon? The world's oldest maps are far more than parchment and ink. They are time capsules preserving the wisdom and ingenuity of civilizations long gone. Each one, from the enigmatic Piri Reis Map to the symbolic Babylonian World Map, tells a story, not just of geography, but of human curiosity, creativity, and connection. These ancient artifacts aren't relics of a forgotten age. They are living testaments to the ways our ancestors sought to understand their world, blending the practical with the profound, the scientific with the spiritual. What makes these maps so extraordinary is how they challenge our modern assumptions. They remind us that history isn't a straight line of progress, but a rich tapestry of ideas, discoveries, and innovations that span cultures and centuries. The precision of the Turin Papyrus map, the celestial wisdom of Polynesian navigation, the global vision of the Kangnido map, all of these reveal a level of sophistication that defies the simplistic narratives we often hear about the past. These maps show us that prehistoric civilizations were far more advanced than we give them credit for, and their knowledge was far more interconnected than we might imagine. But these maps aren't just about the past, they're about the present and the future too. They invite us to question what we think we know and to consider how much of our understanding is shaped by the perspectives we inherit. They challenge us to see the world not as a collection of separate places, but as a shared space, shaped by the contributions of countless cultures and generations. In a time when division often dominates the conversation, these maps remind us of the power of collaboration, curiosity, and the shared pursuit of knowledge. Perhaps the greatest lesson these maps offer is the importance of preserving and honoring the wisdom of the past. The loss of the Library of Alexandria stands as a stark reminder of how easily knowledge can be lost, but it also underscores the vital role we play as stewards of history. Every ancient map we study, every artifact we preserve, is a bridge to the past, connecting us to the stories, struggles, and triumphs of those who came before us. And in those stories, we find not just answers, but inspiration, a reminder that the human spirit is boundless in its quest to explore, to understand, and to create. As we close this journey into the mysteries of ancient maps, let's carry their lessons forward. Let's approach the world with the same curiosity and wonder that drove our ancestors to chart the stars, navigate the seas, and map the unknown. Let's remember that every line on a map is more than just a mark. It's a story, a connection, a piece of a larger puzzle that continues to unfold. And most importantly, let's keep exploring not just the world around us, but the wisdom that lies hidden in the folds of history. If you've enjoyed unraveling these ancient mysteries with us, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more journeys into the past. Together, let's continue to uncover the secrets of the world and the stories that shape who we are. Until next time, keep exploring.